Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to peel back the layers on the AI boom to uncover a story you probably haven't heard. It's all about a massive hidden bubble that's about to pop, and what that really means for the future of technology. All right, let's kick things off with a number that's, well, it's pretty hard to wrap your head around. Over $800 billion. That's how much has been poured into AI globally in just the last few years. It's a gold rush, right? Everyone's chasing what we're told is the next great technological leap. But, and this is the crazy part, what if I told you that somewhere between 70 and 90% of all that money flowed directly to just one single company? We're talking about Nvidia, the chip maker. So that raises a massive question, doesn't it? If pretty much all the money is just going to one place, what is everyone else actually building? I mean, really, what's going on here? Okay, so it turns out the AI industry has cooked up this really unique financial engine, something we're calling the AI washing machine. And this is a totally new kind of business model. Seriously, for the first time, a company's value isn't based on, sales or customers or actual profits. Nope. It's based on how much hardware it buys to train its AI. It's this wild, self-sustaining cycle. Check this out. A startup raises a ton of venture capital. Then, they spend almost all of it on Nvidia GPUs. That huge purchase is then used to justify an even higher valuation for the company. And with that bigger valuation, you guessed it, they go out and raise even more capital. The money just goes in a circle, inflating the startup's value without ever actually, creating a real product that makes money. So this whole financial loop, this washing machine, it's been fueling one very specific way of building AI. But here's the thing, it's not the only way. And this is where we see a huge competition of ideas starting to brew. In the West, particularly the US, the mantra has been pretty simple. Bigger is better. Just throw more and more computing power at the problem and you'll get better AI. But there's a rival strategy emerging, mainly out of China, that's all about efficiency. And it's starting to prove that the bigger is better idea might be completely wrong. And get this, look at the result of these two different approaches. A US-style brute force model can cost $1 billion to train. $1 billion! Meanwhile, one of these super efficient Chinese models can get you pretty much the same results for just $10 million. We're talking about a 99% cost reduction. It's just a staggering difference. So why is it so expensive? Well, the core problem with that whole brute force approach is how it's built. These models are unbelievably wasteful. For any single thing you ask it to do, up to 95% of the model's brain is just sitting there, completely idle, but still sucking up a ton of power. I love this analogy. It's literally like renting an entire skyscraper just to host one single meeting in one small conference room. It makes no sense. Okay, so the financial cost is one thing. It's a huge thing, but it's only part of the story. There's another, maybe even more important cost, a resource that we are all as a planet starting to get really worried about, and that's energy. Check this out. According to the International Energy Agency, AI data centers are on track to consume a jaw-dropping 10% of the entire world's electricity, and that's just within the next 2 years. I mean, that's more than entire countries use. So what this all means is that the thing that's ultimately going to stop this endless growth, it's not a shortage of silicon chips, and it's not a lack of investor cash. It's something much more fundamental. We're literally running out of power to plug these things in. So you've got this toxic mix, right? On one hand, you have this crazy financial inefficiency, and on the other, you have these very real physical limits. And when you put those two together, you get to a pretty unavoidable conclusion. The AI washing machine is about to break down. A classic financial bubble pops when three things happen at once. First, a much cheaper alternative shows up. Second, people realize they can't actually make money using the expensive version. And third, the resources needed to keep the bubble inflated just run out. And all the signs are pointing to those three things converging right now in 2025. But wait a minute, this whole thing presents a really fascinating puzzle. If this big correction is so obvious and unavoidable, then why on earth is Warren Buffett, the most famously cautious, careful investor on the planet, making a massive bet on Google's parent company, Alphabet? I mean, that seems to fly in the face of everything we've just laid out. Well, the answer is classic Buffett. It all comes down to his core philosophy. During a gold rush, don't invest in the guy digging for gold. Invest in the company selling the shovels. Or, in this case, the company that owns all the roads leading to the gold mine. See, Buffett isn't betting that Google's AI model is going to be the best one. He couldn't care less about that, probably. He's betting on something much safer. Google's absolutely indestructible distribution network. Think about it. With billions of users on Search, Android, YouTube, Google makes money from any AI that runs on its platforms. It doesn't matter whose AI it is. They own the digital roads, and everyone has to pay the toll. And that right there reveals the true end game, the end of this AI washing machine. It isn't the end of AI, not even close. In fact, it's the beginning of a brand new and honestly a far more interesting era. What we're seeing is a move away from this brute force era, which was all about just jamming more and more GPUs into a giant warehouse. The future is going to be powered by something radically different, way more elegant, and unbelievably more efficient. This isn't just a small upgrade like getting a new phone. This is a fundamental change in how we think about computing itself. It's like going from steam power to electricity. So the next 5 years are going to be wild. We're going to see a complete restructuring of the entire AI market. The focus is going to shift away from who can spend the most money to who can be the most efficient. And as you can see on this timeline, that probably means GPU demand is going to flatten out, these efficient models will become the new standard, and yeah, we're probably going to see a wave of bankruptcies for the companies that just can't keep up. And this is what's coming next. And no, this isn't science fiction. This stuff is being developed right now in labs around the world. We're talking about computing based on entirely new principles of physics, using heat, using light, even building chips that mimic the human brain. And the promise here is that these new technologies could be hundreds or maybe even thousands of times more efficient than the chips we use today. So the real takeaway here isn't that AI is some big failure or a bubble that's just going to disappear. Not at all. The real story is that the AI revolution, it hasn't even truly started yet. We've just been through the noisy, clunky, inefficient steam power phase. And now, as we're about to enter this new era of smart power, it leaves us with one final and really exciting question to think about. What are we going to build with it?